Hello. Hi.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, and yourself? Your camera's back.
Uh, yeah, I I have no idea. What is that? Oh, I was surprised on my Thursday class. I started my Zoom, and all of a sudden my camera was there, and I'm like, what? So I don't know. Oops. I stopped screen sharing real quick because I want to look at something, and I can't show you all. So let me get something real quick, and then I just don't want to. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm like, now where did everybody go? Okay, here we go. So we have to talk about the test, and I know you guys are probably really mad at me. Wait, where? Oh my God, what are we doing? Oh, here we go. Okay, share. Okay, so I had to have this where you guys couldn't see the person, and I just wanted to go through this. However, there's a lot of people who haven't taken the test yet, so I can't go through everything, but I just want you all to know that there are people who, as you can see in this example, there are people who get the questions right, and there are several. So that always gives me the idea that it's possible. Either they're really great guessers, or they go back on their second time around and they just change their answers to the correct one, which is fine too, as long as you're learning. So the problem though is, let me get Antonio in. The problem is when I try, well, some of these questions I wrote myself, but when I try and do something on my own, it never fails. That I get it wrong. I did receive a couple of the like messages early on where people were saying that the sum of X, they were getting 126. However, when I looked through I didn't look here, okay? I didn't look at the actual exam. When I looked at the scores that were coming in from the tests and other people not saying anything, I just assumed that those people that there was like two that emailed me, that it was just like, okay, they're not doing it right. And then I did sit there and I was like, well, let me look back. And so you can see in my book, I have my X's, and I went back and I was like, well, let me look at my notes, and I was like, no, it's 132, and you know what I mean? Like, so where I made the mistake is I didn't come look here, right? I just looked at like, well, let me do it again, and I even added up my X's again, separate, like check myself, and so I guess a good thing is that you guys can come back and I guess pick an answer, and then you got it right. But I guess the bad part on that end is I just assumed the vast majority of the class was getting 132, and it was just those few individuals that for some reason weren't adding up correctly. However, now when I look back on it, this very last score right here in my notes is 17. It's not 11. And so I'm sure that caused you guys so much stress. Rosa was the first person that emailed me, and I should have known better to look back at the test. However, that didn't even dawn on me. I just kept looking at my notes, and I'm like, so that's why I had 132 and you guys were coming up with 126. Critical values, I can't well, maybe I can, I don't know how to, um, look at how people scored on each individual question, so that I could see who's getting it right and who's getting it wrong, rather quickly, rather than me just going through every single person's test to see. That's one thing I like about handwritten like papers that I can see. But I kind of feel like there was quite a few people who got the critical values wrong. And that would not have any reflection on this. Okay, that is completely separate. The t-value would come out different. Okay, yes, Natalia.
Yes, one thing that I did, yes, you're right about the sum of x. That one was the one that I think was threw me off. But although, like, for example, for like the final conclusion and for like the multiple choice for number 44, if you notice that the answer choices, they're all gonna exceed the actual like critical value. So regardless of what you pick, the other
Right.
two questions are gonna be right, right, you know?
That's right. That is absolutely correct. So I believe, and this was again notes from Rosa that she typed up. Thank you, Rosa, for typing up those notes in for me. She typed out everything here in question number 45, and then that's when I was really like, okay, what's going on? And that's when I looked back at it. Rosa, I apologize. I should have done that way sooner than. Anyways, yeah, I think she got her t-value was 2.99. Does that make sense to Natalia? Maybe, I don't know. I don't. She got a t-value that exceeded the critical value, even when I believe she did 126. No, maybe. You're muted. I can't hear you, Natalia. You're muted.
Sorry. I was like, what? Why can't you hear me? Well, what I'm saying is that regardless of whether the first time I did it, I got it wrong, and I was like, well, how? Like, you know, I'm adding these up constantly, so I end up guessing being like 132 because they're kind of close to each other, the 126 and 132. So I was just assuming that it was 132. But for the t-value, like, again, like regardless of whether you picked like the first time I did it, I chose 13.2. 13.2, regardless of what you pick, there's always they're always gonna exceed
It
the
still
critical
exceeds it.
value. So that's why I'm like, well, I mean, I might get that question wrong, but the last two I might get right too.
Right. Right. Okay. So that does make me feel better. So whatever the T was, and I was starting to do it right now, but my brain just went blank. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So 186 divided by 9, and then the square. Oh gosh, I just forgot it. 186 divided by 9, 20.667. I get 4.54.
Yeah, but it's like it's close to. That's why
Okay.
even though the answer choice was in there, I kind of like, well, maybe it can be. Let me try something that's close to that. So that's why I end up choosing like
Yeah.
a number
Okay.
close to the result, the actual result.
Okay.
You know?
And I'm not going to call this person out. I don't know. I'd have to look back at this, you know, I don't want to reveal their results, but, you know, and again, this is I guess, a positive for you all that you can go through and, you know, like my daughter, she takes pictures of the questions, and then on her second attempt, she's able to, you know, deduce or figure out what the right answer is. And that's great. Hey, right, you're learning to work the system. I'm okay with that. But like this, for this individual, you know, maybe through guessing, they got this stuff correct. However, like Natalia is saying, on this one, it kind of bothers me that they don't know that at this point we would reject the null hypothesis. And so here's another person that wrote in their example, I added the X's and I came up with 126. My values did not match up. And so, and I understand that just throws people off, and then, and that's my bad. And I apologize for that, because then the whole thing, it's like we just throw in the towel, and it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't get it. And so I apologize for that stress.
I'm sorry, what was the problem? Because I kept getting 126 too, and at that point, it just like stressed me out for the remainder of the test.
I know.
And like, for the following questions, I kind of did what Natalia was saying, kind of estimated.
Yeah.
And I knew it was exceeding the value, the t value.
Yeah.
So I just went from there, but
okay.
I didn't catch that part. What had happened there?
What happened in my notes? This very last one right here, I have in my notes 117, not 11. And so, and who knows what happened? Either, because I had to type this. So I either typed this wrong here, and then when I wrote in the back of my book, and it is where I solved it, my thing, I don't know if you guys can see. Is my 17 there? Can you see it? So I don't know if I don't know which one came first, me typing this or me when I wrote this out, and I just did it. I did 17. I don't know why.
Okay, so we did that up correctly then.
You guys were, yes, you guys were right on this part right here. 126 would have been the correct sum of X. And Susana, what I was explaining to people was, when I was seeing like test results come in, it was just like so many people were getting it right that I just went with that. I was like, oh, they're, you know, the people that are messaging me just for some reason aren't getting it correct. Until
I think I got it. I think I got it wrong. I think I wound up guessing. I just guessed the wrong one, but I was getting 126.
Yeah, and I apologized for that stress. This is why I hate it when I have to type my own questions, because it's so easy to overlook something like that. And when I first started getting people's messages, I didn't look here at the actual test. I just looked in my notes, and I ran it again, and I did everything again, and I was like, no, that's what I get, you know? So I feel like maybe this was, I just typed it wrong. I don't know. So I'm sorry about that. Like Natalia was saying, obviously your t-value would be different. Here, you should have chosen to reject the null hypothesis. And then a conclusion, I mean, if you were just going with the reject the null hypothesis, and I guess then in theory, if your sum of X was 126 and divided by 10, that would give you a sample mean of 12.6.
Yeah, from that point on of the 126, like I didn't get any of the answers correct from there, but I just assumed that at 126, I would be as close as 132. So it was over the t value, so that's why I just went from there.
Right. Yeah. And that's good, you know, critical thinking skills on y'all's part. And that obviously.
But I just couldn't understand, like, I was like, why is it 126? And I did it over and over and over.
I know. And trust me, you guys, I hate myself for that. I do. I just can't, as careful as I always feel that I am, it never fails. That I always have a typo or something, and it just drives me nuts. And I hate that I do it in statistics, because it's like, it's hard enough as it is. You don't need me typing a wrong number. And so I hate that. I hate that. So I am going to go back through. I know I was doing some grades this morning. One class I'm about halfway through grading. I'm just going to get through and grade them all the same way that I did, so that at least I have an even, fair beginning jumping point. And then I'll go back, and I'm going to go back and add points. And you can either consider them to be stress reliever points. You can consider them to be, me trying to, in good faith, show you that I'm sorry points, or, so that you're not crazy and you did add it up correctly points. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so we still, the critical values would have been the same. This is not affected by how you added up sum of X.
Yes.
The t-value is affected, and so that one you would not have gotten this one. And then even if you calculated it with 126, I believe your t-value still exceeded the critical value. So you should have rejected the null.
That's
and then
correct.
Here, you should say that there is still a significant difference. And let me tell you guys that if you reject the null, right? If you reject the null hypothesis, then you do have significant differences. You have found a significant conclusion, meaning that the means are different. There must have been something about this therapy or class or whatever it was that raised these people's assertiveness. So this is where I had some hard, people were having a hard time with this too, and I get it. I do, and we're going to have a lot of exercise and practice coming up with these conclusions. Okay, so when you reject, you do have a significant difference. I want to say that there might have been some multiple choices like that. So this person did really well. Oh, see, right? Statistical significance and rejection go together, right? So there are some things in here that talk all about that. Okay.
I do have I have a question about, well, I got 4 wrong, but but the thing was, there was one talking about random assignment.
Oh,
So, what was the answer for that one? Because I, like, even the first time I did it, like, I still didn't get the right like, I changed my answer and I still got it wrong. Oh yeah, like 20 and 19 and 20 were the ones that I got wrong.
oh, look, this person got it too. Let's see. Random assignment assigns the available participants to a group. I don't know what the other options were. And this one, random assignment. Yeah, definitely by chance, like you flip a coin or you go to a random digits table and you just randomly assign people to a group. This one, I don't know. I don't know how. I would have to go back into the exam to see what those other options are for this one. So let's see. I'm going to stop sharing real quick just because I don't want to, I don't want to give I don't want to give away anybody's identity. Help me out. How do I do that? How do I stop share? I don't want to end it. Do I end it? No. No. Well, oh, but then if I go there, let's see. Oh, so there's stop share. Duh. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me see. Let me put you off to the side real quick. So you guys can't see my screen, right? I just want to make sure. I don't want to get it. Okay. I don't want to get it wrong and show people's grades and stuff. No, that probably won't be right. I see Cody's on here. Cody, did you have a good birthday weekend with your dad? Might be asleep. Right, he drove to Lubbock, I think he had said. Exam 3. Okay, let's see. Let me bring you guys back. Oh my gosh. You guys are probably just like, I don't know. I try and be cool, I swear, but I'm just, you know, a 45-year-old mom who gets all confused. I apologize. All right, let's see. Oh, so we said 19. 19, where are you, 19? Okay, let's see. What are these different options? Random assignment is a procedure that gives every sample, oh, from a, I bet a lot of people put that one. And that, I would say that probably is my bad also, because, you know, it's like we didn't talk too much about random assignment, but we did talk about a random sample, and that would be a definition of a random sample, A. Ensures that there will be no uncertainty in the conclusions. That one doesn't make sense, because even if you have a true random sample, there's always uncertainty. We are never 100% sure in our conclusion. We always feel like there could be some type 1 error. So that, you know, I wouldn't go with that one. Now this one assigns the available participants to a group. And the reason why this one is correct is because it's talking about random assignment, right? And not a random sample. But I can see now, looking back on that one, why this question is, you know, can be confusing, especially when we're talking about more types of samples, not random assignment. So that's another one that I'm going to check out. So it's 2.2 that I'm going to check out and give you guys points for that one. Okay, because I
try to look at it in the textbook, and I didn't see like a definition or even a like something talking about random assignment, random sample, yes, but
yeah.
random assignment, I didn't see anything. So I was like, I don't know if they're the same thing or.
Yeah, if I had to guess, Natalia, they're probably talking about it right in the, like when they're talking about the research samples or the convenience samples.
Okay.
Because when the best thing that we can do as researchers, when we get people that essentially are self-selecting to be in your study, either because they're being forced to because they're freshmen in college, or they, you know, just want to because maybe they're getting paid or compensated or something like that. That idea that they are choosing to be in your sample is what we call either a research sample or convenience sample. And so therefore the best next step would be to randomly assign them to the different groups in the study. We wouldn't want to just take the first 20 people that show up and put them in this group, and then the next 20 that show up, put them in the second group, and then the last 20 that show up and put them in the third group. Because there could just be something fundamentally different about the first 20 people that showed up to be in your study compared to the last 20 people who maybe begrudgingly came in, or it was just the last thing that they were able to do. And we don't know. So we always want to randomly assign people to groups, because in that hope, we are spreading out all those confounds. We're spreading out all of those differences. So if you have someone who say is extroverted, right, and you're randomly assigning them, hopefully you have an equal number of extroverts in this group and you have an equal number of extroverts in this group. If you have people that don't want to be in your study and they just showed up because they had to, hopefully you have a good mix of those people in your different groups. But that's what random assignment is getting to, and we didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about that process of randomly assigning. So I will give you guys points back for that one as well. Okay. So don't stress. If you saw on your grades, it affects it, but everybody's still doing pretty well. I know Cody had mentioned about possibly dropping the lowest test grade. I don't remember what I said in the syllabus, what my procedure was. Let's check it out. For this class, where are you? Sometimes I do drop the lowest grade and sometimes I don't. So that's probably what he's getting to. Wow, it's saying I'll take all of them, right? That we'll have 4 exams. Yeah. So today we will make the decision, and I will amend this syllabus if it's okay with you all. I don't see why you would not agree to this, but you never know. I'm going to drop the lowest test grade. Okay. However, you have to take all of them. Okay. You have to take all of them. You have to take the last one. Okay. But I will drop the lowest test grade. Okay. I usually make it where the last one will count no matter what, that I only drop one of the first 3, okay? And there is a reason behind that, why I do that, because you could technically, in theory, blow off the next 4 weeks and then not care about the last test and then know it gets dropped. And so, yeah, so I'm going to keep it right now, that I'll drop one of the first 3. Okay, I really want you to pay attention and try for the last exam. Okay. I had a class, like, I don't know, maybe my 2nd or 3rd semester of her teaching. And oh my God, they were the worst. They were the worst class. They totally took advantage of me. It was horrible. And it was an intro class and it was over at Vallaverde, and I had it that I would drop the lowest test grade, right? And this had worked for other semesters, but this one class, after the 3rd exam, like, none of them came back. Like, they just left. They never came back to class. Like, and in my syllabus, looking back through my syllabus, there was really nothing I could do. I couldn't, I don't take attendance. That's not something that I feel like I should have to do in college. We're all adults, right? And so I didn't have anything to hold them on to that. And it was that I dropped the lowest grade. So if they just didn't come back to class and didn't take that last test, it was going to get dropped. And so that's why I try and be a little bit meaner and more strict now, because of those people that were so mean to me. So anyways, all right. The next thing I want to do is, because we've already taken 30 minutes. Are there any other questions over the test? No? Okay, so I'm going to add back points. And so you will see your test scores. From what I'm looking at right now, I would add back that one we just discussed, the points for number 19. I would add back the horrible sum of x1, that it should be 126. And then of course that one also changes the t-test, the t-value, okay? It doesn't change the other ones, but it did change that t-value one. So those three for sure, I'm giving points back, okay? And I will look at the conclusion one at the very end, the very last one, just to see, probably give points for that one too. Okay, because once it all goes downhill, we get all stressed out, and you know, and then it's hard to think in what we're supposed to do. So I didn't want to do that to you guys. I want to show you effect size because it's pretty simple. And then I will